Well, it is Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. Good morning and welcome to your Perfect Day Starter. I'm Kayode Okikulu.
Well, it feels different when the whole family is complete. Good morning. Welcome to your Perfect Morning Starter right here on Channels Television. I am Bukola Koka, blessed among men. Hi, guys.
And I'm Jeffrey Bukola. This together started yesterday. You're always late to this party. I don't know why.
No. It's not about lateness. It's just, settling into the feeling of the whole family being complete.
This togetherness has always been, by the way. I'm not sure. I mean, anyway. What a day it was yesterday, guys. The resignations kept rolling in.
Yeah.
Well, two. One consequential, the other one for politics. Maybe. So let's focus on the one that concerns the majority of Nigerians, and that's the resignation of the Minister of Defense, former Governor Badaru. And this came just after President Bola Tinubu met with the former CDS, Musa. And it's quite interesting that this is coming right now. A statement by the president's aide, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, detailed the resignation by now former Minister of Defense. According to Mr. Onanuga, he says that Alhaji Muhammad Badaru Abubakar resigned his appointment with immediate effect. And a letter dated December the 1st sent to President Bola Tinubu. Apologies. Abubakar said he was quitting on health grounds. Now, President Tinubu has accepted the resignation and thanked Abubakar for his services to the nation. And he went on to say that the president will likely inform the Senate of Badaru's successor later this week. So there you have it.
Well, you know what they say about pressure. This, resignation, surprisingly yet unsurprisingly, comes amid security concerns, especially elicited by comments and actions from the international community, comments by President Donald Trump, who designated Nigeria a country of particular concern. Deliberate actions taken by U.S. Congressman Ted Cruz, recalling his bill on religious freedoms, religious liberties in Nigeria. And also, right after that, attacks, kidnappings, with girls in Kebbi kidnapped, worshippers in Kwara kidnapped, yet more worshippers in Kogi rather, have been kidnapped. And so, what they say about pressure, it can be a source of strength, it can be a motivating factor. And, little wonder that they also say that oaks grow strong amid contrary winds. So we hope, as we emphasized yesterday, this attention from the international community will elicit something different about the security outlook of Nigeria, such that, the narrative can change. And speaking of surprising things that may have, occurred in the last 24 hours, we also saw former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, visit Mr. President for the first time after, the shake-up in the military, which saw his exit from office as Chief of Defense Staff. He was, according to reports, dressed in traditional northern attire yesterday, and the meeting held behind closed doors. We wonder if, this has got to do with continued measures taken by government, both at the federal and the state levels, to reining on ravaging insecurity across the land. So these events, of course, will elicit national conversation in the coming days as to the implications of what this may mean for Nigeria. Well, Mr. President has, accepted the resignation of Minister of Defense Abubakar Badaru, and according to reports, a replacement will be announced shortly. Jeffrey.
No surprises is expected, given the recent failure of security, which is the right thing to do, but the bulk of insecurity stops on the president's table. I agree with those who really are not interested in whether Badaru resign or Matawale goes. The bulk stops with the president, who, if he feels that there's a weak link in his leadership, in his government, to be able to do the job that he's been assigned to do and he swore to do the best. When people, with the greatest respect, we wish him well, Mr. Badaru, but I don't believe in all those unheld grounds. I've read too many unheld grounds, so sometimes you don't even know which of the held ground is right or which one is true and which one is false. So my natural instinct as a journalist, when I hear on held grounds with politicians who like to sit tight and enjoy this position as long as it lasts, I really don't believe it. Remember, we've had all kinds of held ground. I can go back and forth.
Just to be clear, it may be on this nation's security health ground. It may not be personal.
No, I don't have anything personal against them. I'm just saying when they come up and say on held grounds, I don't believe it. Especially, when it's not as clear as crystal that it's on held ground. But the most important thing is that Nigerians are dying. Nigerians are being kidnapped. So if he was a weak link and he has to leave, fine. I don't know whether Bello Matawalle should also stay. I don't know whether Nuhu Ribadu should stay. There has to be some consequential, significant, major shake-up that will show that this government is serious. When they came, there were issues, and then I think in 2024, there was a time in 2024, security was a bit better, fairly under this administration, but for some reason, everything just blew over. And there are so many reasons for it. We may not even know what the major reasons are. Even the victims may not know the true reasons for why those things are happening. But the end result...
I doubt that there has ever been any time that security has been
No, there was a time.
Jeffrey.
No, there
December
was
2024, was a horrifying month for Christians in Nigeria's North Central.
No, that was 2023. That was a Christmas Eve attack. That's 2023. I think that should be 2023. If my records, I will have to check it out. But I'm saying that
let's double check on that.
There was a period when it looked like we didn't have so much as when you compare to what is going on now. I'm talking about comparing now to that time. It looked like things have really been stable. Things are getting better. I'm not saying there has been any time where there has not been insecurity. There has always been insecurity, but sometimes are worse than the others. I think that's a comparison I'm doing. So. Whether it's Badaru, who resigned on held ground, we expect Bello Matawalle as well to excuse himself out of that seat if he wants to quote on held grounds. Fantastic as well. Because to be very honest with you guys, I don't know what the criteria was, with the greatest respect to him, how he became Minister of Defense. Because under his leadership in Zamfara, I don't know we all have the records of what the insecurity situation looked like. That's
Matawalle, right?
Yes, Bello Matawalle. We all know the insecurity situation. Then Bello Matawalle ended. I'm not even comfortable with the fact that former governors, I'm not sure both of them have any military background. I need to double check on that. But I do not think that kind of space is for political compensation or all of the political considerations that is necessary for the politics to be stable, because, of course, if politicians work for you, you have to look for a way to compensate them. But those are spaces where we should not have people who don't have the right expertise, defense, finance, and some of these very, very, very important spaces, health. Those are not places for politicians. Those places should be for professionals. So if you ask me, guys, I expect Bello Matawalle to also give one reason to go. The president should excuse him or redeploy him to somewhere else, because I don't think they've done a good job so far. We thank them for the services they've offered, including the NSA himself. There was a time he did, in fact, where I had a problem was when he was shouting, "Nobody fights Tinubu and wins." He became more of a politician than an NSA. So we just need to take our security seriously. I think even those of us who talk this thing, we're almost exhausted from talking about it. So we welcome his resignation. We expect that of Bello Matawalle. We expect that of NSA or any other person if the president deems it fit that they are not doing a great job. Goodbye. But let's find the right people to do the job.
I think it's only the NSA that has some security background.
No, he does. He does.
Retired police. Bello Matawalle was a teacher. Somehow he became governor. It was one of those testimonies that
teachers will not like what you just said.
In that sense. No, I'm saying it doesn't have a security background.
Yeah. Okay.
Was a teacher, eventually became governor. He wasn't meant to even be the governor. We all know what happened during that period. So it was a big shocker. And somehow he rose to become...
It's Providence that gave him governor.
Exactly. That's why I said it's those kind of testimonies that you share and say, wow, like, this is big.
Bayelsa governor.
Right. And then now former Badaru, industrialist, well, yes, he studied accounting, but no security background as well. So it is clear that some of these appointments were wrong fits. Yes, maybe they had some sort of relationships or some intel being governors, but clearly we have seen the outcome. And that leads us to the next big story, and that's the Northern governors meeting yesterday. They had a meeting. The Sultan of Sokoto was there. The governors of northern states were there as well. This is when they were arriving, and they were in that meeting for quite some time. What is the outcome of the meeting, which is most important right now? Well, a couple of things that the governors agreed on in a communique which they released. In fact, they had traditional rulers, as I said, also present there. One, they proposed the suspension of mining activities across the region for 6 months. That's on the one hand, that's all the 19 governors, and also okayed state police. Now, these are two issues that have come up time and again. The mining part of the conversation and the state police part of the conversation. Let me stick to state police because this is, I've lost count how many times governors have okayed state police. Southern governors will meet, they will okay state police. Northern governors will meet, they will okay state police. So who is not okaying the state police from happening? I do not quite get it.
I add to that list, when the president declared a security emergency, he also backed state police. So, the question is, how does that impact on the ongoing constitution review that also has that significant element of state police, implementation of state police, if it becomes law? So are we running ahead of the conclusions of the ongoing constitution review to implement state police across the 36 states of the federation? And are the governors being reactionary? Are they prepared financially to institute a structure of state police? These are the conversations that we should be having as far as that proposition is concerned from the northern governors. But go ahead, Coyote.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If we have to be careful with state police. Do we need state police? Yes. Can all the states right now fund state police? No. Will state police be subject to abuse? Yes. I read a book by Tom Jones, Managing for Performance. He said there's a forming stage, there's a storming stage, there's a norming stage, and there's a performing and adjourning stage. One of the things we must mentally prepare as we're excited about the coming of state police is the inability for some states to be able to fund their state police. So what are we doing to fill that gap? Federal government must see what it can do. Of course, the issue of abuse is inevitable. Abuse will be as clear as crystal. We also need to look at that element as well. So these are the things we must look at and be sure before we get in. For now that all the governors have literally said the state police is a way to go, I can guarantee that the state houses of assembly will do the same, because most of these state houses of assembly, with greatest respect, are appendages of the governor. So which of them is going to say no to their governor?
No, the challenge is they've always okayed state police. Yes. During the previous administration, most of them said, we want state police. So I'm not clear what is going on here.
As a matter of fact, the southern governors came off of their meeting last week to also endorse state police.
So sometimes...
But we know about Amotekun. How many states demonstrated commitment to Amotekun? How many states in the Southwest do you have Amotekun, visibly around, carrying out security activities, ensuring the safety of the communities? How visible is Amotekun in your community, for instance? And that goes to show the level of commitment of the governors in the Southwest to Amotekun as a security infrastructure institution to provide security intervention in the southwestern states. Speaking of which, there are reports about 6 estate surveyor investors being kidnapped in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. So it appears as if the challenge of security is not waiting for decisive action from the governors. So we are asking for the governors to be clear, not just the governors in the north or the governors in the southwest, but across the 36 states of the federation, to be clear in the vision of the provision of security at the state level, and take decisive action to provide all of the apparatus that the institution requires to function, such that Nigeria can exit this time of uncertainty, time of unrest, where there are constant attacks and people are worried about their future.
So we must be prepared for those days, as I've said, so that we can have a better society. But we also need to prepare for what I consider the down risk of what we're going to face. Abuses. You were saying who is stopping. There was a time IGPs were in the vanguard of speaking against state police for whatever reason. Maybe their power will be managed a bit differently and all of that. So, but I think what is important to the average Nigerian is that will state police solve the problem? Can we say, will it solve the problem of insecurity? We hope so. So let's be prepared for all the downside as much as we are excited about the good side. Some states will owe, and that will affect the capacity to defend their people. So what do? Some state governors will be recklessly abusive of that power. Do we have state assemblies that will kick him out by impeachment or out? So those are the things we must be ready to face as a people. Guys, what next?
Now, speaking of what we're facing on the show today, of course, insecurity takes a major part of our conversation, and we head over to Kogi State in the aftermath of the abduction at a church, and the state government's saying that religious houses should avoid gathering in hotspots. We'll be speaking with the government of Kogi State today to find out what exactly is going on in that state, what is being done to rescue those people, to safeguard whether travelers or residents right there. That's one of our big conversations today.
As far as security is concerned, we'll also be heading to Kwara State to feel the pulse of the people in Ekiti local government area and Ifedun local government area. You know, this comes on the heels of attacks in Ekiti local government area in particular, in a Ruku community where 38 worshippers were abducted. They have been released, of course, and a number of people were killed during that attack that was live streamed that got international attention. So we'll touch on that as well, just to get a sense of how the people are faring, and we'll bring you updates on that.
And we're staying in the north as well, with the northern governors re-echoing that onboarding of state police. We've discussed that, deliberated on that just moments ago. That we'll be speaking to those who are in the know in that region to find out what are the fundamental decisions that must be taken, because the north is the biggest, or they are the biggest victims of one of the downside of things, from insecurity to poverty to out-of-school children. So rising to the occasion, is this what it is? We'll find out right here on the program. Okay, from here, we will be going straight to what the dailies are saying. Adeni Fetaya is our guest analyst, is the CEO of Megastar Magazine and a public affairs analyst. He joins us from our Abuja studios in just a moment. Let's get to the Daily Sun. That's leading with the issue of northern security. Actually, two issues, but a broader, bigger one has to do with security. The other one has to do with the GDP numbers that have just been released by the MBS, 3.98, and the major drivers of the Daily Sun. Northern governors, royal fathers, rise up against insecurity. We must act now or lose not. Governors to raise 19 billion monthly at Security Trust Fund. Our region must work together to tame security challenges. That's according to the Sultan. If you go to the Vanguard newspaper, it's literally leading with the same thing. Vanguard newspaper says, Northern governors, OK, state police suspend mining. So the riders, I'm trying to get to the riders in just a moment. One region will collapse if terrorists abduct nursing, murder 10 others in Kano. Panic at the Abuja school as students mistake soldiers for kidnappers. Police foil planned mass kidnap attack. So, Mr. Fataya, the headlines apparently is just a reflection of what we're dealing with. What do you make of it?
Yeah, good morning once again. Talking about Northern Governor OK State Police, I agree with that. You remember a few days ago, also the Southern Governor, they met, they went on the same direction of it is high time we have a state police. But my problem now is that just like you are talking about funding, But if they can tackle the problem, and the issue that I also want to point out is that they must be sourced locally. You remember, even in Nigerian police, sometimes they bring, I don't know where the idea came from, maybe somebody from the east to come and head a police command, or to come and like a commissioner of police in a state in the west. You know, I think all these, when they are trying to make up personnel for state police, they should all be sourced locally, because they live among the people, they stay within the people, they know the terrain, and of course maybe a former commissioner of police should head that unit, as long as it has to do with the protection of life and property, as long as it has to do to secure our borders, to secure our businesses, to secure people who are going about their daily duty. I'm also in support of that. You know, they talk about mining. It's just that I don't have the full information. Like there's some of the insecurity in the northern part because some people are using that, you know, so that they can perpetrate or do illegal mining. I don't know what that is, but coming from the northern governor, because they know where the shoe pinches, they feel that if they should stop this, maybe it will tame or reduce the insecurity activity, and they can be able to focus on it. It's a collective effort, just like we said, and they must do it and get it right. It's not just about, also they talk about contributing 19 billion naira every month to tackle the security. My problem is not in contribution. My challenges will be that how will they adjudicate it, how will they use it judiciously to make sure that it's not the time to settle their crony, it's not the time that to award contract or surveillance to their political party or members or who are affiliated with them. So when it comes to the issue of security, I'm sure they are short of personnel. They want to be in charge, they want to be in control. So let's see the positive side than the negative side, whether they are going to abuse it, yes, of course. But as long as it's providing, keeping people safe and sound, I'm in for it. It's a good one for them to go.
Well, there's more on security, Mr. Fetayo. Let's head to the New Telegraph this morning, which also captures, you know, another event that we have reflected on, but it will be interesting to get your thoughts. Amid renewed attacks, Defense Minister Badaru resigns. Committee cites ill health. And there are a few riders there. US, UK, France, others supporting Nigeria. That's ascribed to the federal government. As Ribadu visits Kontangura, I believe that's the community where the 300 children were abducted from St. Mary's Catholic Church, and says abducted Catholic school pupils will be back soon. Ex-CDS Musa meets Tinubu over rising attacks. Our troops can end terrorism. They're not cowards. That's ascribed to General Nwachukwu. And Agbekoya deploys members to tackle banditry, kidnapping in Oyo. That's a local security initiative in Nigeria's southwest, Agbekoya. And we're wondering earlier on if these events are sort of related. The resignation of the Minister of Defense, and of course, ex-CDS General Musa visiting the president yesterday. Mr. Fetayo, your thoughts?
Yeah. First and foremost, I think the former Minister of Defense has done noble. You know, when your health fails you, it's for you to step aside. The reason why I say he has done noble, because if we are to be some of our political leaders, they will do what they call sit tight, and why they become a clog, they become an hindrance, you know, to the progress, to the security challenges that we are having. They are adding insult to injury, because if your health is failing you, first and foremost, you need to take care of your health. So if he has resigned so that others can step in and get the job done, it's not the time to play politics with it. It's not the time to just sit tight and all of that. That was why I say he has done noble. Then going to sometimes just I listen to you people, you are doing some analysis about some appointment. It's just to settle a political score. It's just to, you know, reward their political ally or crony or sycophant as it were, because sometimes you check the background, what is the doctor or doing to manage finance, sometimes I'm just using that as an example. And another one I want to talk about is the issue of our NSA saying that the 300 abducted pupils or students will soon be back. It's not just, these children gaining their freedom. Who are the perpetrators? Who are the people in charge? It's the high time they need to publicly, shame them or prosecute them. Let's know so that it will serve as a deterrent, because you can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results. And you can see it's as if it's like, oh, this is new illegal business that is going on now. Nothing will happen. As they say in Nigerian part, nothing will happen if we do it. But when they see that people are being prosecuted, their sponsors are being prosecuted, serving time and all of that, people will tend to sit back. And of course, I love the fact that the US, the UK, and France, they want to support Nigeria technically to fight terrorism. Not that we don't want it to come and invade our nation. We are talking about Libya. They have never remained the same since saying that they want to come and liberate the people. So if you have the information that we do not have, share with our security personnel, train, retrain. You have drone that can monitor, that can, those are the technology I felt that they should share. So it's a good one. At least it will also increase our bilateral relationship with those foreign nations. But just for their troop to come and take over the world, no, it's Nigerian problem and deserve Nigerian solutions.
Let's take a look at this Nigeria. Of course, you would expect it to lead with security stories as well. It would appear as though there's a difference in the reactions that we're seeing. 2014, during the Chibok girls' abduction, almost 300 were abducted, and there was national uproar, which eventually culminated into the defeat of then-President Goodluck Jonathan. There was international uproar as well. But just take Nigeria alone, over 300 pupils abducted. It's quite different. So I don't know if Nigerians are tired, if they've been desensitized or what have you. But that's the front page of this Nigeria. Defense Minister Badara resigned, says he'll quit over ill health and all of that. But there's also the story around Nigeria's economy, expanding 3.98% on agriculture, industry, recovery. So it looks like economic numbers are doing something else, whether you look at inflation or GDP figures. So, Mr. Fetayo, what do you make of this? Is this some sort of silver lining?
Just like they said that all fingers are not equal. This one has its own role, that one has its own role. Yes, we have our challenges, but if economy is bouncing back a bit, especially agriculture, which I think the government also need to pay more attention. And I'm sure when our farmers are safe to go to farm, when the farm produce, find their way to the market, food security, it snowball to economy empowerment. So the number might be few, but it's an addition to us. Whatever it is they are doing, and they should keep it up. For example, I was making a kind of findings 2 days ago. How much are they selling a bag of rice now? So I was getting between 57,000, to 60,000, which about 3 months ago, you'll be talking about 90,000, 80,000. So the numbers are coming down gradually. Whatever it is they are doing, they should focus more on it. And also on the riders that said an inside information that he had to go because it was inefficient. All these things put together, just like when your health is failing you and you don't want to agree, it will definitely show in your performance. It might be part of it, but since a source at the presidency saying that they just have to go, but as long as your health comes first, even in Yoruba, they say health is wealth. Is when you are healthy, that's when you can go to work, do your job or move from point A to point B. And heading the Ministry of Defense, as in being a former Minister of Defense is 24 hours job. So it will take a toll on you if you are not sound initially. But for the economy recovery, 3.9, yeah, they are doing well. And that industry, they can do better, especially in agriculture. If you want to do large-scale farming, if you are collecting loan from bank, those are the things government can do. That it has to be 1 digit, so that they can, when we have food security, I think it reduces crime, because an idle hand is the devil workshop.
All right, Mr. Feta, if I'll let you go. News of the resignation of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke. Does it surprise you?
No. It's like homecoming, because for the past 3 months or thereabout, you've been seeing one governor or the other. It's just a matter of time before you will see another one. So my fear is not that people or the governors coming to maybe the current what's it called, the APC or whatever party they choose to, is the structure that is on ground, because by next year the picture will begin to become more clearer. That it's just like you're having to captain in a ship, and definitely one will not, like they say that no grief for anybody, one will not want to allow the other to outshine. Let's see how that plays, but it's just like what we expected before. All these, no, I'm not going anywhere, I'm with PDP, whatever it is. It's just another story for another day.
All right, Mr. Adeniyi Ifetayo, thank you so much for your analysis. Mr. Adeniyi Ifetayo is the CEO of Megastar Magazine and also a journalist. Thank you for analyzing for us this morning. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
So I'm sure Bukola was wondering, where is Mr. Ademola Adeleke going? Where do you think he's going?
Well, he hasn't announced his destination yet.
Is it difficult to guess where they are going?
Of course, we have a fair idea, but let's just wait for the announcement, the big announcement.
There are lots of options for him. Just to be clear, Nigeria is not a one-party state. And 19 political parties.
I like your optimism,
Let me list the parties.
I'm one of the leaders of anti-one party.
Good. So let's list the parties. There's AAC.
He's not going there.
There's
ADC.
Keep going now.
No, I'm not getting it. There's YPP.
He's not going there.
Okay, there's ADC.
He's not going there.
So what? APC.
What else?
Whatever happened to joining AAC,
I'll be sure.
joining Omoyele Showore's party.
You didn't mention LP, by the way.
There's Labour Party.
It's not going there.
Well,
I would like
you
to
don't
be
recognize
wrong,
LP as a party.
No, there's 19 of them.
Funny enough,
I have not run through all the list.
Funny enough, right now, the only opposition that seems stable, not because they are stable. The word is seems stable, is ADC right now. But they've not proven themselves because it's early in the day to show their capacity. It is next year's election we will know whether they've come to the party or not. So that is how we're looking at it's not 2027 though. It is next year's off-cycle election. That will be.
But the test has already begun.
No. It's still, I think it's
with Anambra election.
No. It's still
how.
Except you don't except you don't understand politics. No, it's not going to be fair. That just barely. You know how long they took to even have their leadership sorted out.
Elections.
Yes,
there were by-elections.
That's what I'm saying now. When did they?
So those are smaller elections.
No,
at least that you should be able to cleanse one office.
It doesn't work that way because they fought hard. Because before growth, there has to be stability. Growth comes after stability.
Are you a consultant, a political person?
No, but Jeffrey, you have to be consistent in your position. You had said they seemed a little stable.
So I'm saying that.
And you're also saying that there has to be growth before stability.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So
what I'm
two
saying
political consultants.
What I'm saying is that when they started off, see the battle over the leadership of David Mark and whether or not, you see that period, that's when those by-elections were coming. There was no way. If I'm a politician, I can't go and join that kind of party when they have not sorted out their leadership. Stability started coming when INEC finally recognized them. Now, it's too early in the day within this year to say their performance. In fact, if you want to do their performance, you can also give them some credit. They beat Labour. They beat PDP in Anambra. PDP scored 1,000 and something. The first position went to ABGA, second went to YPP, third went to Labour Party. ADC came 4th. PDP came somewhere around 5th or 6th or so. So you get the point. So the numbers are consistently increasing. That's how you measure. So now that there's a bit of stability, let's now see growth. And the next cycle of election will know whether these guys are serious or not. Is it clear now?
Well, I don't know if Kari is still as optimistic after that analysis.
No,
we'll find out in yet another off-cycle election how well ADC and the other parties will do.
We wish all the parties well.
Politics this morning. We're talking security. We'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll unveil our very first segment. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
So Mr. Kingsley Fawo joins us as Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kogi State. Mr. Fawo, good morning and welcome to the show. Kogi State is one state that has been battling insecurity, and just recently the Cherubim Church was attacked and people abducted. And the state government, interestingly, said that, well, religious houses should avoid areas that are described as hotspots and they should not gather there. Shouldn't the messaging be, we will provide security for you so you can gather and worship? Speak to us, Mr. Fawo, what exactly is going on? Mr. Fawo, just to be clear, can you hear me? All right, we'll reconnect with Mr. Fawo, the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kogi State. You know that on Sunday, all right, Mr. Fawo, please go ahead. I understand you can hear me now.
Thank you very much. I can hear you, but I didn't get the question you asked.
Right. So I was referring to the recent abduction in Kogi State. Also last week, we saw commuters stranded on a certain highway because there were fears that attacks were happening ahead of them. But the state government has said that worshippers should avoid gathering in areas described as hotspots. But the question is, shouldn't it be that the government will tell those people that, you know what, we are providing security so you can gather to worship? So I'm curious, what exactly is going on?
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, viewers around the world. The issue of security, I think you are putting two things together. There was a kidnapping along the Oshokoshoko-Obajana Road last week, and immediately the state government was able to mobilize security agencies. We also assured the families that we are going to activate our security architecture to get those people back. And within just a few days, all of them were rescued alive. Then on Sunday, there was also an attack on a church at Ejiba in Yagba West local government area. We've always been talking about this. We've held series of meetings with religious bodies, lots of town organizations and a lot of that, to alert them to some of these threats, and also to let them know that the state government is working very hard to provide security. But what is also most important is the preventive part of it. We are providing security around Yagba West local government area being a hotspot. But, you know, it is also not advisable security-wise to be having this kind of services in the bush. So what we kept telling them is that whatever we can do to work together with security agencies to allow this period to pass. We are opening a lot of fire on the criminals in the state right now, but we just need some preventive measures. We need some cooperation from these religious organizations to ensure that places that are prone to this kind of criminality are avoided for now until we can bring the situation to normal.
And that's my question, Mr. Fawo. This church, the Cherubim and Seraphim Church in Ejiba Yagba, is it in the bush? I mean, this is a residential area. So are you saying people should relocate as a result of security or insecurity, or security should be provided so people can go about their daily lives? It sounds as though the government is saying, well, we're overwhelmed, we can't help it, so for now, just move away?
I was not talking about anything that has to do with relocation, and I was not trying to paint a hopeless scenario as far as this is concerned. We are doing a lot to protect worship centers, to protect communities in the rural areas, and what we are saying is that at this time we have a lot of intel that had to do with attack on worship centers. Just last week, the state governor convened a high-powered Security Council meeting. And in this meeting were religious leaders. And some of these intels were shared to avert this kind of scenario. It is not about, let me tell you something. For every incident that happened, the Kogi state government had averted more than 20 that would have happened. But we can take precautions. We are protecting these people. We are providing enough security in rural areas, in the most affected areas. We are doing everything, investing heavily to be able to provide whatever is needed to secure our people. But at the same time, we should also be very conscious of the fact that we also have roles to play by avoiding places that will make us vulnerable to this kind of attack. That's the point I was trying to make.
Right. So as it stands today, can worshippers gather to worship? For example, in Yagba West, can they gather to worship? Is there security for them, or they should still stay away from worship centers?
We are not saying worshippers in Yagba West should not gather to worship. That same Sunday, I had my information across that particular local government area. Most churches had their service that day. There was no incident. And what we are advising them is that if you are located in places that are remote, in places that are in the bush, in places that would be difficult for us to quickly mobilize security agencies and the security architecture if any incident happen, then at this time we can avoid it. Most churches, Yagba West is a predominantly Christian, a Christian local government area, and you had hundreds of churches, and they all had their services that day. So it is not that we are telling people can go to worship centers, to the mosques, to the churches, but what we are saying is that places that are prone to this kind of attack, for now, should be avoided. At the same time, as a government, we are also deploying a lot of security agencies, both the conventional and the local security agencies, to be able to safeguard all of these places. But as citizens, as worshippers, we also have roles to play.
So, Mr. Fowle, by your acknowledgement right now, you're saying that there are places in the rural areas in Yagba West local government area that the Kogi state government is unable to guarantee security of lives and property, especially for people in worship centers. Hence, they should not gather.
That is your position. That is
what you have said.
No. That is not my position. My position is that we are providing security to all of our citizens, wherever they are. That is my position. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't go into places that you know are vulnerable, even if you are guaranteed that there is security there. What is more important in crime control is prevention. If you can prevent it, it is better than when you are trying to control the level of criminality. So we are not saying that. My position and the position of the state government is wherever our people are, we have the capacity to protect them. You can have some of these incidents. People, they come from the bush to attack places and, things like that. But, it is not that the state government lacks the capacity. We've shown capacity to be able to deal with this. And that's why the state government has been able to put in place one of the most robust intel operation in the country today. Just yesterday, we still had some intels as to how some kidnappers are targeting some high-profile individuals and how they are trying to procure arms from a certain dealer. We are closing in on some of this intel. So we have the capacity to protect our people. We are assuring them not to be afraid. Their governor told them he would never submit to criminality, but he would go all out, attack it, and defeat them. That is what
Mr. Fan, we're not quite clear what you're saying, because you have also said that they shouldn't go into places that are vulnerable. So you're also acknowledging that there are places that are vulnerable, that, you know, the state government may not be able to provide security for them. But talk to us about 2 travelers that were also abducted, this time in Yagba East. This has been confirmed by the Kogi State Police Command. What is the state government doing about this particular kidnap case? And does this say that Yagba East and Yagba West local government areas in Kogi State are, you know, under pressure of attack and kidnappings by bandits?
Thank you very much. What I was saying that we are providing security. We are assuring our people not to be afraid. The state government, their governor, is working very hard to provide security. Yagba West is a border local government to Kwara State. As you are aware, we are having military bombardment, you know, in Kwara right now. And, you know, the usual style is when there is fire on them somewhere, they move to the next state. Kogi is being bordered by 10 other states, including the FCT. So we are vulnerable to this kind of influx of criminals, especially where there is bombardment on them in the neighboring states. Now, the point we are trying to make is that Yagba West, being a border local government, is prone to this kind of attack. And the next local government to it is Yagba East, which also shares borders with Kwara State and some other states. So what we are saying is that we are doing everything possible to provide security in these local government areas, but we also want to tell the citizens to be cautious, to be careful, to, you know, the governor was at Isonluesa, Okoloke, and Okono. Those are the flash points. They share border directly with both Kwara and Niger State. You know, he was there to see what the military is doing there, to galvanize them to do more and continue to route out these elements in those places. And we are getting a lot of results there. And, you know, it is what we need now is vigilance and cooperation with the security agencies. As far as the state government is concerned, the governor is sparing no resource to ensure that security is fully restored in those 2 local government areas.
Yeah, Mr. Fao, you know, even the Nigerian government is not able to perfectly secure our country for a couple of reasons. So it's not out of place when we push and say your government will not be able to secure everywhere, but you can do the best you can. So I see the back and forth you were trying to make about whether or not security. In fact, security advisory is a sign that certain things are wrong. So it's just what it is. If the people are not secured, they are not secured. To the best of your ability, you have to do what you can to make sure you give them a sense of safety. But where I'm going to with my question is, as you mentioned, Kogi is bordered by almost 9 or 10 states, including the FCT. What is the government doing in terms of mapping? Because perhaps Kogi is one of the most bordered states. I mean, within the country, when you're literally surrounded north, southwest, southeast, north central, and even almost part of the north central, southwest, southeast, I think just a part of south, maybe Delta or so. What mapping is being done to ensure that the people are safe and secure to the best of your ability? By mapping, I mean the level of decision that is being made depending on the vulnerability of attacks across the states that border Kogi State.
I think you can also take that answer from my previous submission as to how we are ensuring that we mobilize a lot of security resources to the border local government area, the border communities. The video that you are showing right now shows the border between Kwara, Kogi, and Niger here in Kogi State, where those elements are moving from those two states to Kogi to terrorize our people. And, in response to that, we've been able to mobilize security resources to those places. You could see the military, the joint task force, both the conventional military, the police, the DSS, and the local security architecture. So we have been able to identify these hotspots. That's what I'm talking about, mapping and how we're able to mobilize security resources. You have Yagba West, you have Yagba East. Also, you have some part of Kababunu bordering Niger State, where they cross the river Niger to move into the state, perpetrate their heinous harm and rush back. We also have that place. So around Kiri and the other places, we have also been able to mobilize a lot of security resource to those places. In Kiri, for instance, just a few days ago, they attempted to attack a school, and because we were already prepared for that, we already mobilized the security agencies to the place. They were able to repel the attack immediately, and some of them that exchanged fire with the security agencies have been sent to their creator. So it is a matter of identifying these places, which we have been able to do. It is also a question of mobilizing security resources to those places to be able to curtail this, which we have been able to do. And we'll continue to improve on this. We'll not give all the information. We have a lot of our young people that are doing training on how to man some of the equipment we have brought in. We will not disclose this for security reasons. But, in the next couple of weeks, we are going to go completely technological to be able to identify, pin those people to where they are and be able to deal with the situation and ensure that they are unable to circulate in their criminal activities.
What assurances is the government giving to, because I use elections, for example. Whenever there are elections, Kogi is always looked at as a very tough place in terms of security concerns, and this is because of building. And it's not unique to Kogi. There are states like Rivers, a couple of other states where elections are really quite a volatile situation. So in terms of building the confidence of the people, how much of community involvement is being done by the state government? Do you have the likes of, for lack of a better comparison, the Amotekuns within the state?
Thank you very much. The issue here is that completely we have recalibrated our security architecture in the state. It used to be from the top to the bottom. Right now, under the current administration in the state, we've been able to have a lot of community involvement. That is from the bottom to the top. What we have identified is that the community should play a greater role in ensuring security. One, they will be able to gather intelligence. If new faces come to your community, the community people will be the first to know and be able to question such a person and know what the person is doing there. So what we have been able to achieve is to ensure that we build our security architecture in such a way that the community takes the lead. We have also been able to recalibrate our vigilante service in such a way that, before now, they were just a standing service to provide security. Now they have been incorporated into the conventional civil service in the state. So they now know that their job is pensionable. And also they have been trained, they have been equipped to be able to provide the first line of defense in communities wherever there is this kind of an attack. Also, we have been able to employ thousands of hunters who are residing in those rural communities to collaborate with the vigilante servicemen and women, and also to be able to cooperate and complement the efforts of the conventional security agencies in the state to be able to do that. So every village you go to in Kogi State now, you have an army of the vigilante service, the hunters, and also the conventional security agencies. So it is now community based, and that is why we are recording the kind of success that we are recording in the state, despite the fact that we are bordering 10 other states, including the FCT, and we have this kind of influx whenever these criminal elements are bombarded in other states.
Okay. So, Mr. Fawo, speak to us about the Cherubim and Seraphim Church abduction. How many people are abducted, and when will they be released, or when are you securing their release?
Thank you very much. I've tried to gather a lot of information from that place. Right now, I don't have a very clear figure. A list was sent to me a few days ago, which had 9 people, but I don't have the clear figure, because in this kind of a situation, some people that you think might be in their hands might have escaped and somewhere else, or some people that you think are not with them are with them. So the security agencies are still carrying out their investigations, even as the rescue efforts is ongoing. And you would agree with me that just a few hours after the incident, the state government was able to mobilize a police helicopter so that we can also have area surveillance as we are having the grand battle. The army, the DSS, the local, they are on their trail as we speak. And we are very hopeful that in the next couple of days, we'll be able to give Nigerians good news about that incident.
So we know from what we've heard time and again that the location of these bandits, their location is not hidden. The people know them. Particularly government and security agencies also know them. And you've said that there have been some arrests made by security operatives over the past few days. Who are these people? Do you have any idea who they are, where they're from, and what they want? I imagine that intelligence should have given you some sort of insight into that.
Yeah, I think basically, immediately after the Security Council meeting, the governor spoke about the fact that a lot of these bandit commanders have relocated to Kogi State because they are feeling the heat of the military bombardment in Niger, in Kwara, and all of that. We also hope that some of these will be simultaneous, because it's like applying a mosquito fleet in the room, and you opened in the bedroom while you leave the living room opened. They will go to one that is safe, and then for them, and then move to the other one later. So we want a situation where we have simultaneous cooperation. A lot of these bandit commanders are known. They are known. I was just telling you about the intel that we got yesterday, and there were conversations that were intercepted as to what operation they were planning to do. We already know ahead, and that's why I said for every attack you see in Kogi State, more than 20 have been averted. So they are people that some of these bandit commanders, we know their names, and part of the things we brought in that I'm not going to disclose here, we'll be able to pinpoint exactly where they are, and we'll be able to do justice to them wherever they are. So it is unfortunate that we are facing this, and we know that as the heat is going, we also know that the tough will get going, because we in Kogi will make sure that this place is not comfortable to the bandits.
Mr. Fanwo, you said earlier that some who were abducted in Kogi State were rescued unhurt. I would like you to clarify what went through during that release or rescue of the abductees. Were they ransomed? Were they rescued? Or were they released? Because there's a big difference between the three. That's on the one hand. Maybe you should answer that first before I follow up.
Yeah, Bukola, I know where you are going. And, I'm there ahead. I will be there ahead of you. In Kogi State, we don't negotiate. The government said it's not going to bow to any criminal. We have the capacity to take them out. We have the capacity to deal with the situation. So we are not going to negotiate with any one of them. We regret the fact that in the fire exchange between the kidnappers and our military and the security agencies, we lost 2 people. But I think a lot of them too knew that Kogi is a no-go area for them. So we didn't negotiate with any criminal. We are not going to negotiate with any criminal. We are not interested in negotiating with any criminal. We are going to deploy all of the powers of our security architecture to always deal with them. That is the position of the governor, and that is what we have been doing.
Well, we hope that is the case and we do not get to hear contrary information. To follow up on that, you said earlier that, Kogi is under pressure because the bandits are themselves under pressure from neighboring states like Niger and Kwara State. But in those states, we've also seen kidnappings, we've also seen attacks, we've also seen deaths of people, in vulnerable communities. So we wonder, what pressure that exactly you're talking about. But in videos that we're seeing now, we see that the terrain of those areas where attacks are ongoing, the roads are bad. And we've heard, concerns about neighboring roads to Kogi State from Kwara State, about the deplorable state of roads in that area. Look at the video that we're seeing right now, Mr. Fanwu. I believe this is an area in Kogi. What is the state government doing, particularly about roads linking Kogi and Kwara State, Ilorin Kaba Road in Eruku, and adjoining roads, to ensure that these roads are rehabilitated and indeed these areas are well lit at night to deter any form of security threats on vulnerable communities in rural areas?
Thank you very much. The purpose of this question should be to get results, and for some of these communities also to be able to enjoy very good roads. And to achieve that purpose, I hope that one day you bring federal authorities on here to ask them these questions directly. We are also asking the question, and we would be happy if you can also join us to ask the questions. The governor and some of our federal parliamentarians have been lobbying and pressuring for the federal government to fix these roads. They are federal roads. When you talk about Kaba to Ilorin, they are federal roads that should be fixed.
But Mr. Fanwu, in other states,
the fact that
pardon me, Mr. Fanwu,
there are movements as to fixing it, but we've not seen action happening on those roads. I agree with you completely.
Mr. Fanwu,
if the roads are good.
Mr. Fanwu, pardon me, there are other states where the governors are providing intervention to fix the roads, and then they get, some form of compensation later on. Why is the Kogi state government not providing that intervention and then get their compensation later on to ensure the security of lives and property, which is, more important? The continued loss of lives in these areas due to the vulnerable state of the roads and infrastructure collectively, or the fact that it's the federal government that is responsible?
We are doing that. But we have limitations. There are limitations to the kind of resources that we have as a state. When you talk like this from Lagos, we really appreciate the fact that you are in a state that has almost limitless resources and all of that. And if Rivers, Delta, and other oil-producing states that have access to billions of naira are able to do that, you will appreciate that. But when you talk about Kogi State, our resources there is limited. Things are getting better because of the economic reforms that have freed some funds for state. But we also have a lot of infrastructural development that are going on in the state, like some of our universities, some of our township roads, and some of our primary healthcare centers, strengthening healthcare at the rural area. So all these resources that are going into this, to be able to get the resources that will fix this federal road, I hope you've asked a lot of questions as to how much can fix 1 kilometer of road. What we can do, especially on the Kaba-Ilorin road, right now is to continue to appeal to the federal government to continue to pressurize them. You are talking of a road that tens, if not over 100 kilometers. So it is not something that the state government can fix on its own.
Well, Mr.
What we can continue to do is to provide palliatives on those roads once in a while, which we have been doing to ensure that people are able to use that road. But to reconstruct outrightly is something that is beyond the economic capability and capacity of the states.
So if that is beyond your economic capacity, can you handle state police?
Very well. We can handle state police. We are handling the vigilante service that are thousands today, and we are handling the...
Oh dear. Mr. Fanwu, we're totally out of time. I just wanted to get that on record as to your capacity to handle even more, since you say you can't handle the infrastructure on that side. But we have to thank you so much, Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kogi State, Mr. Kingsley Fawo, for your time. And we wish the state the very best in the fight against insecurity. We'll take a moment now, and when we return, we'll head over to another state that is experiencing insecurity, Kwara State. A particular community has come under attack time and again. What exactly is going on? Well, we'll give you first-hand information from those affected. That's in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's still the morning brief right here on Channels Television. We're staying very much with the subject of security. And from Kogi State, let's head over now to Kwara State as we speak with residents of some of the communities, Eruku community to be precise, in Ekiti local government area, where 38 worshippers were kidnapped and they have been released. But of course, a number of people also died in that attack. Joining us now is Mr. Shola Daniel. He's a leader, Eruku community, in Eruku community, Kwara State. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on the morning brief.
Good morning. The community is pronounced Eruku.
Eruku. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Eruku community in Ekiti local government area. First of all, let's get to know the state of mind and indeed families of those who were kidnapped. How are they faring now? And of course, perhaps you want to establish for us the exact number of persons that died in that attack, and let's get to know how families of the affected are doing.
Yeah. If you will quickly allow me to do a quick run through the genesis of the banditry that we are experiencing in Nigeria today. In 1980-81, a sect grew up in Kano. They were called Meitasine. When they were evicted, they moved to Bauchi. From Bauchi, they moved to Gombe. From Gombe, they moved to Yola. And from Yola, they moved to Maiduguri, to a community called Bulunkutu. They were led then by a man called Mama Yusufu. And when this man was arrested 3 times, and each time a prominent Nigerian bailed him. The 3rd time, he was invited to police, to the government house. And as he was to go out, it was broad daylight. He was in shorts. The man was shot dead. And then his followers were also attacked at Bulunkutu where they were. And that was when they moved to Sambisa forest. From there, they were somehow like they were neglected. Nobody thought they could be anything. But they rapidly grew to a force that launched out to various parts of the northern states. And that is what the country is grappling with right now. And if I can please add, during the twilight of the last president, one of the governors in the north said, from Senegal to Cameroon, that the Fulanis there, Nigeria belonged to them, that they should come. And no doubt, many of them answered that call and came into Nigeria in droves, particularly the north. And that is what we are still grappling with in the country right now. To come back to your question, I've been giving you this background for you to understand what is confronting Nigeria. on 18th of November, 38 people were abducted from Christ Apostolic Church, where a revival, 21 days revival service was going on. That Tuesday was the third day, and 3 people were shot dead on the spot. I think that's the background you're asking for.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay. We thank God the government on the 19th, that was on the Wednesday, the following day, the governor, Malam Abdurazak, was in Eruku. He left the community at about 6:45 in the evening. The commissioner of police was there. The DSS boss also was there. And we thank God they swung into action immediately, and all the 38 people who were abducted were released on 23rd, that is Sunday, 23rd of November. And as I speak to you now, the government is still taking care of these people because some of them were traumatized. Some were very weak by the time they came back. I mean, they are still in Ilorin right now. But the community is indeed grateful to the government for the good care they are receiving so far. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you for that background. Although some of the things that you submitted in your narrative may have to be verified, but what may be undeniable, may be debatable, is the fact that perhaps there is a challenge of extremism in Nigeria's north and indeed in some other parts of the country, which some northern leaders have acknowledged and addressed in different fora. Talk to us now about what your observations are about the security, the provision of security in terms of infrastructure and men on ground in Eruku and in other parts of Kwara State, neighboring towns to Eruku.
Yes, the government, immediately the governor visited Eruku. The following day, a military detachment was sent to the community. Also, military policemen were sent in to ameliorate the fears that people are experiencing. But to tell you the truth, most of the people who have relatives who could afford to move them out of the community temporarily have done so, because just about a week after our own, another community in our local government called Isapa was attacked, and their community leader confirmed to me that 11 people were abducted. And I think, but I spoke to him yesterday, and he said there has been no news about them so far. Thank you.
I'm wondering, sir, there's always a catch, and there's always maybe a vulnerability that is being seen for these abductors or these terrorists, as we call them, to strike. So what do you think is making places like Eruku prone to this surge of attacks? Are there resources there? Is there maybe ungoverned spaces? What exactly, from your own observation as somebody who comes from there?
Yes, look, Eruku is a contiguous, location-wise. We are at the boundary of Kogi State that Honorable Fanwo spoke about. Also, Ekiti State. We also have a boundary with them. We have vast forest land, some extending as much as 40 miles, 40 kilometers, So the forest is such a place that these people can hide there and and grow gradually. Apparently, the community, we have hunters, we also have vigilantes who have been up and doing. They try to comb the forest, but it's the task is overwhelming. There was a time not long ago, the bandits enter the outskirts of the community. Somebody has a ranch. They went and roasted the cattle they saw there. And when the vigilante tried to catch up with them, in the course of the ambush, the vigilantes and set fire on their truck that got burnt completely. So these are the major problem that we have. And apparently the community has been doing very well in the area of farming, multiple products. It may interest you to know that trucks come from as far as Niger to load farm produce, particularly yams. At this time, right from about August, until it's supposed to continue up to even beyond now, but because of the security challenges, they no longer come to load farm produce from there. In addition, just as a rider, what Honorable Fanwo mentioned, the state of the federal road is in a deplorable situation. Right from Umuaran, there are so many spots where even somebody trekking could be faster than you. We thank God the governor told us that the road has been, construction has been awarded by the federal government. We are praying that this will come to fruition, because we have had this several times when Honorable, so in the past government, the same thing we've had, that road was going to be fixed, but nothing happened. We pray that this very one will be a reality, because if the roads are free and good and motorable, the bandits will find it very difficult to waylay people on the road. But before now, the issue of kidnapping on that road is a continuum.
I want you to state to us clearly about the security situation, because there have been proposals for troops to be stationed in Eruku, Ekiti local government area, and indeed in other areas like Ifelodun that was under attack prior to Ekiti local government area. What are your observations about the presence of security, either be it members of the armed forces or police infrastructure in your local government area and indeed in other local government areas?
Well, I must be frank with you, the presence of the military in the community right now has not made much difference, because on daily basis, farmers have to go to their farms. Just about 3-4 days ago, it was reported that some farmers were attacked on the farm. Some ran away, but I think one person up to now is still unaccounted for. So, in a situation like that, the fear of the unknown will continue to make things very difficult for the farmers. And the military men are reported to say that they've not been asked to go into the bush. And even if they ask them to go to the bush, how many farmers can they follow to their farms?
All right.
And how armed can they be to be able to confront bandits who are armed to the teeth?
All right.
So these are my observations.
All right. Let's quickly take it to Mr. Abduganiu Ajala, leader Okiode descendants in Kwara State. Mr. Ajala, good morning and thank you for joining us on the program. Can you hear me?
Good morning to you.
Yes, finally. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, your community is in Ifelodun local government area that was under attack prior to the one reported in Eruku, in Ekiti local government area. Talk to us about how Ifelodun is faring now in terms of security.
Well, we thank God for everything, because life being what it is, whatever that happens to you, you have to be grateful to God, Almighty God. Well, the thing happened as that was September 28th, early in the evening of that date. People, as far as we didn't even expect it to happen, although people are prepared at the initial stage, because before that time, there was it occurred at Babanla, very close to Okiode. And the government on its own, the government take an appropriate action by deploying military men to that area. But somewhere along the line, the military were withdrawn.
Yes, Mr. Ajala, go ahead. Oh yeah, we seem to be having challenges with the network. We hope Mr. Ajala returns to conclude his statements. But as we wind down now, Mr. Daniel, talk to us about what your observations are about, what seems to be fueling the emergence of banditry in Kwara State at the moment and in neighboring Kogi State, and what you believe the interventions of government should be in terms of security, as we wind down very quickly.
The attention of the government, because we know that these people, these bandits.
Mr. Ajala, are you back with us? All right, we'll find time, to capture Mr. Ajala's comments. But Mr. Daniel, if you got my question, very quickly in 60 seconds, government's intervention.
Yeah, government intervention is making a difference. But like I mentioned before, it's we can call it palliative, because for example, now by January, farmers will start harvesting cashew, which are grown in very large farms in our place. Some farms are located about 3 kilometers from the community. For any farmer to go alone to the farm, it's risking his or her life. So these are ongoing problems that we envisage that is very, very difficult to answer.
All right. We do empathize with residents of Kwara State and indeed Kogi State and in every other part of Nigeria that is currently under attack. And we hope that the measures put in place by the government will bring about an enduring solution, indeed solutions to these challenges, such that Nigerians can live in peace and in harmony. We must thank you very much, Mr. Shola Daniel, a leader in Eruku community, Ekiti local government area. Thank you for joining us on this segment. And Mr. Abduction Ajala, our apologies, were unable to take your participation sufficiently, but we hope for another opportunity. Mr. Ajala is a leader, Okiode descendants in Ifelodun local government area. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
We'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll continue with our conversation on security. This time we'll be looking at the outcomes of the meeting of the Northern Governors Forum, which took place yesterday. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Its wholehearted support and commitment to the establishment of state police. Accordingly, the forum encourages national and state assembly members in the region to expedite action for its actualization. The forum observed that illegal mining has become a major contributory factor to the security crisis in northern Nigeria. The forum therefore resolved to strongly recommend to the President to direct the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals to suspend mining exploration for a period of 6 months to allow proper audit and subject all mining licenses to revalidation for a period of 6 months in active consultations with the various state governors, and in the process arrest the menace of artisanal illegal mining. In order to effectively confront the security crisis in the north, the forum resolved to set up a regional security trust fund to be funded with monthly contribution of 1 billion naira from each state and local governments to be deducted at source under a framework to be agreed upon.
All right, let's get straight to that conversation. The northern leaders making very far-reaching decisions. Some of the highlights includes the, issue around state police. Their support big time, just like their southern counterpart. The issue of suspending mining exploration for 6 months. That's the advisory they are giving to the president to stay put on that so that revalidation can be done, and because it's a major trigger, natural resources. And they talked about 1 billion naira monthly contribution from the 19 states, some form of a security trust fund. Let's bring in our guest who will be bringing us up to speed as well as his perspective on this far-reaching decision and, more importantly, the insecurity in parts of the north. Shehu Mahdi is a public affairs analyst. He joins us virtually. Mr. Mahdi, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
I did highlight some of the things that have been said. Are they drastic enough in your view? Do they inspire hope for the people of the north to say this is a step in the right direction to be able to curb the incessant killings and kidnappings?
Well, this is just a panicky approach to security. When you wake up and say you are contributing 1 billion naira every month times 19 billion naira, to do what with that money? Where is the blueprint? What are they going to do in specific with that money? When you have no blueprint and you gather money, you file up money, the money will end up either being squandered or being wasted away. Nothing to implement it on. Number two, they are running away from the reality on ground. The reality on ground is that there is a linear, direct, indirect, and tangential relationship between poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, and insecurity. They can surrender the entire budget of the state if they like. But as long as there is no investment in education, in agriculture, in youth training, in so many critical factors and infrastructure, for that long they can continue contributing any amount of money they want, but security is going to elude them. As long as they don't checkmate themselves, the extravagant expenditures being incurred by most of the governors explains why there is no security, not only in the north, but all over the country. When you find at the main cost of local and foreign travel by a governor, golfing more than 30 billion naira in 1 year, actually less than 1 year, and you go to the same state, go to the Ministry for Health, you find the entire budget for the whole ministry for over 8-9 million people is less than 10 billion naira. If you go to Ministry for Youth and Women Affairs, the amount budgeted is less than 2 billion naira. If you go to agriculture, the amount is less than 10 billion naira. But in the office of a particular governor, 30 billion, 40 billion allocated for what? For admin and traveling. Anybody with that mentality and is telling you that he's serious about security is only deceiving himself and also deceiving you. We need to have a practical approach. When you say you want state police, how, when, People have been calling for this state police for the last 10 years. They have been ignoring it. Now they want state police. What approach? Which structure is on ground for the state police? State police is very, very desirable. I am for state police, but not in the fire brigade approach. There is no state in Nigeria that doesn't have retired DIG, retired AIG, retired director DSS, retired director from prisons, retired director from immigration, retired director from civil defense, but they are not tapping into the experiences of these retirees who know the game better than anybody. Rather, some of them see them as enemies. As long as we don't bring in critical stakeholders, as long as government doesn't discharge its own responsibilities, as long as monies are being squandered and spent at will, for that long we'll just continue crying about insecurity, but insecurity will continue to challenge us.
Yeah, Mr. Madi, yeah, if I may comment, I know you've raised concern about lack of prudence on the part. I think it's across board, from federal government to state, where we've said, a friend of mine would say, is the moral hazard they have to bear for emotionally unintelligent expenditure, given the paucity of funds that we have as a people, yet we see them spending this money. Where I'm going to with that is insecurity is biting really hard. So in terms of prioritization, don't you think that is an urgent situation that needs to be addressed? Then we can backtrack to these causative factors that you've listed, which are quite correct.
The truth is that there has been total neglect in the past. People were complaining they are being ignored. At one time, in a certain state, only 10 local governments were under the hand of bandits. Today in that state, 20 local governments are gasping. They are under siege. They are under the control of bandits. If you take the entire north, northwest, northeast, north central, almost 60% have been run over by bandits. And surprisingly, when Katsina was under siege, Kano and Jigawa folded their arms. And then they forgot about what is called the contagious effect theory. Now Kano is affected. Jigawa is affected. When Zamfara was under siege, Sokoto and Kebbi folded their arms. Now Sokoto and Kebbi are under siege. Now, if you go to Niger axis, it's over now to Kogi, it's now to Kwara, it's now to Edo, it's Ondo. You see, it is just going on like a bushfire. It is now a national disaster on account of total neglect and ignorance of clarion calls of citizens who mean well were ignored. Voices were ignored. In a society where you find a government spending billions of naira to buy vehicles for traditional rulers, same vehicles that they cannot drive now on the highway. Most of them that go to Abuja or come to Kaduna or go to Lagos for a meeting, they go on chartered flights. They can never drive those limousine cars. In a society where you give priority for luxury, you abandon education, abandon agriculture, abandon healthcare, abandon youth unemployment is there in huge, in millions. That society can continue pretending. That society is entitled to pretend. Those leaders are entitled to their own make-believe, but insecurity will continue being a challenge as long as we don't do the right thing. As long as we don't spend money meant for the public in the interest of the public. As long as we continue to personalize collective wealth of the nation by few people are holding the entire country to ransom. For example, Ned Nwako, not Nwodo, the senator, his committee said that they have discovered $306 billion, almost 484 trillion, questionable, doubtable, unaccounted for at NNPCL from 2017 to 2023. As if that was not enough, Senator Wadada, Chairman Senate Committee on Public Accounts, also said that 210 trillion need to be explained by NNPC. Just yesterday, day before yesterday, 17 trillion naira was spent by NNPC on what? On guiding pipeline at the rate of 1.5 trillion per month. A total of over 600 trillion naira is being questioned under just one organization. You have not gone to NPA, you have not gone to the MASA, you have not gone to Central Bank, you have not gone to so many organizations, FIRS, to find out that Quantamania,
well,
the West,
Mr. Badi,
that is
money
that is more than enough to make everybody comfortable.
Right.
Money that's more than enough to even help other countries. Is money being personalized by few people that are breaching the trust of the public?
Well, quite a number of issues you have raised, Mr. Madi, and you sort of focused on, government spending, use of public resources. You also talked about investing in education, agriculture, and youth development. Interestingly, these are the things being targeted by the terrorists: education, schools being attacked, students being abducted, agriculture as well, farmlands being targeted, youth, a lot of these youths being recruited into the terrorist or bandit cells. So almost as though they are targeting what government should be doing and harnessing that for their own nefarious activities. But fundamentally, Mr. Madi, I want you to speak to this point, because one of our guests earlier on talked about, the advent of terrorism, 1980, Metsasini, and all of that, and how it has built up. In fact, he referenced, and I believe, Bauchi State Governor about 6 years ago, where he was talking about, the movement of people, how people can actually move and they shouldn't have restrictions and all of that. And these communities have said time and again that, one, we know where these terrorists are hiding. We don't think government is doing enough. In fact, government also know where these people are hiding. So I wonder for you, what is the fundamental issue here that looks like is holding government back from acting? When I say government, I mean government, security agencies, and the rest. Are they afraid, and what are they afraid of?
No, just look at the manner and the pattern and the processes through which leaders emerge in Nigeria. Here you are in a country where a person is in a locality, and every locality is a well-known criminal, well-known lawbreaker, well-known offender, known to everybody. Yet, somewhere, somehow, that person emerges to become a local government chairman, a councillor, to become a member House of Assembly, to become member House of Reps, a senator, a governor. He can occupy the highest office in Nigeria. A person that emerges through that process, fully aware of his credentials as a criminal, will be a person that will have no courage, will have no guts, will have no audacity, will have no temerity to checkmate crime because he is part of the crime cycle. Number two, we abandoned competence for anything goes. Just look at what is happening now. Open your eyes well. Look at the entire political horizon. See the people in charge. You will cry for Nigeria. It's only in Nigeria where somebody who was in prison, charged for murder of a cabinet minister, collected his nomination form while in prison, filled in the form, was not even there during the convention, was given the ticket, and he became a senator while in the prison. And up to now, the case of about that minister that he is suspected to have facilitated in killing is still nowhere in the courts. In a society where somebody is facing EFCC charges of multi-billion naira fraud from his own state, he was being charged to court almost a week, in the next 1 week. The moment his name emerged as a ministerial nominee, the investigation went down completely. He appeared at the Senate, he was cleared. Everybody looked away from that crime. Many of them are there in the National Assembly, State Assembly, at local government level, at every strata of the society. A society where criminals are being celebrated, criminals are being compensated in a manner of speaking. That society must go into prayers. In a society where you negotiate with criminals, you give money to criminals, you give cash to criminals, you even surrender yourself to criminals. That society is a society that must go on prayers. It's a society that must ask its own honest question. Are we willing to go down completely, or are we willing to save ourselves? Well, apparently, Nigerians, both the leaders and the led, are not willing to save a society.
Well, Mr. Mahdi, pardon me to quickly come in here.
Sunk down.
Pardon me to quickly come in here. And you've talked about drastic measures. The Minister of Defense resigned late yesterday on health grounds, and there's going to be a security rejigging, we imagine. I remember in 2014, then President Goodluck Jonathan, just right after the abduction of Chibok girls, 200 and something of them, was asked to resign by now President Bola Tinubu. Over 300 students have been abducted in Niger State, and more being abducted. Is it fair to then call on the president to resign, as a lot of people have called, saying that the figures look even worse than then, during Jonathan's time?
You see, it is what is called nemesis and karma. Jonathan was blackmailed. Using what? Using Boko Haram. By who? By desperate politicians who are out for power at all costs. They were all over. They went to America, they went everywhere. They want Jonathan what? Removed. Jonathan, being a gentleman, fully aware that he was being blackmailed, went and even congratulated Buhari. He stepped aside. 10 years down the line, Jonathan must be laughing in his private bedroom now. 10 years down the line, Jonathan will feel vindicated now. 10 years along the line, they are reaping exactly what they sow, that of blackmail, that of hate, that of desperation for power that they planted 10 years ago, they are now harvesting. It is karma at play. It is nemesis at play. The same politician now that are running helter-skelter, contributing $1 billion naira, spending trillions of naira, buying drones, are the same people that blackmailed Jonathan. Therefore, it is a warning that every day could be for the thief, one day could be for the owner. You can continue to blackmail, you can continue to intimidate, you can continue to arrest, you can continue to pretend, but a harvest day always awaits the pretenders, the blackmailers, and the intimidators. This is the rule of God. This is the law of God.
Mr. Mahdi, you're making very weighty, comments, or if you like, allegations, as the case may be. You say back then, desperate politicians using Boko Haram blackmailed former President Jonathan, and they're the same who are now buying equipment, who are buying drones. It seems like this will not go away in the polity. Just yesterday, ex-CDS General Rabo was saying that some politicians are funding terrorism. Prior to that time, some other speakers have said there are certain persons, even in the government, that are funding terrorism. How does that relate really to also, or contrasts with the decision of the northern governors to suspend mining in the north? And we've heard, also that some foreign nationals are also fueling banditry in Nigeria's north. How does this all tie together?
See, let them give you the list of people they granted the mining license. If you see the list, you will cry. I have the list up to 2024. I don't have that of 2025, but if you look at the characters and the characterization of the people given the license for mining, your mouth will drop. If you travel to Dubai airport, Dubai, they have no gold at all. In the entire space of Dubai, there is no single deposit of gold. But now Dubai is a heaven for gold. And 65% of the gold going to Dubai is coming from Africa. Of the 65%, 42 comes from Nigeria. Go to Dubai airport, go to the declaration desk, and see how raw gold is being declared for entry into into Dubai. It's not illegal. You can take any quantum of gold, especially if it is raw, to Dubai, and you will have your dollar paid to you there instantly and instantaneously. Therefore, it is not the mining. They would never suspend mining. The owners of mining license are more powerful than the owners of oil wells in the south. They are powerful.
All right, Mr.
They are
Madi, we're totally out of
they
time.
Are strong, and they...
My apologies, Mr. Madi. I think your point is well noted, but for want of time, but you've made very, very strong statement that I'm sure everyone has paid attention to. But I must thank you so much, Mr. Shehu Madi, public affairs analyst, who joins us virtually for this part of the conversation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.